Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Rico Richardson and welcome back to my channel. For those of you that are new here, my channel is all about helping you guys edit your photos and your videos professionally, but for free. And in this episode, I'm going to show you guys how to edit a photo that you've taken with your phone in Darktable. So let's go. And this is the image that we're going to work with, and as I always do, I'm going to show you guys a before and after. So here's the before. So this is what we're going to start with. I'm going to move the slider to the right because I've already taken a snapshot, and look at that. This is the end result, and I'm going to show you guys one more time. So we have the original on the right side, and now on the left side is the edited version. So let's start. I'm going to deselect the snapshot that I've taken, and we're going to start and work on this spot right here because he's got this dot on his head and I don't like that. So what I've done is I've put all the modules in my favorites menu. If you don't see them over here, you can either search for them. So let's say we want to search for the sharper module, and then the sharper module shows up, or you can just press one of these groups and find it that way, or you can go to more modules and then find it in the list down below. I'm going to click that down. I'm going to my favorites. Let me tell you guys which modules they are, because apparently some of these are very small and some of you guys can't really tell this because you're watching on your phone. Unfortunately, DaVinci doesn't allow me to save presets from the keyframes and stuff like that. So previously I was editing in Adobe Premiere and I was able to do that, and that's why I had the enlargements and the zoom ins and stuff like that. I can't right now, so I'm just going to tell you guys which modules these are. So it's the color zones module, it's the color correction module, it's the local contrast module, it's the tone curve module, it's the basic adjustments module, it's the tone equalizer module, it's the spot removal module, and finally the lens correction module. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the spot from his head, and for that I'm going to use the spot removal tool. I'm going to activate that, and I'm going to make sure I'm going to add a circle. Then I'm going to put the circle on the spot, and it automatically finds a donor area. I'm going to zoom in the image by holding the control and scrolling the mouse wheel button away from me to make sure that the spot is gone, because I don't want to see it. And I see something moving over here, so I'm going to hit shift and I'm going to decrease the size of the feathering. Just going to check and see where it is. Oh, there you go. So there's the spot. I'm going to move this closer in, because I advise you guys to make sure that the donor area you use is closest to where the spot is, due to the lighting and stuff like that, and otherwise it'll just look weird. So I'm going to click this one, and now you see that the spot is gone, and you can't really tell that I've used the spot removal module. So I'm going to scroll out again by scrolling the mouse wheel button towards me, and if you feel that's taking too long, just click here, hit fit the screen, and you'll get the same result. The first module we're going to use is the tone equalizer module. It's a very powerful module which allows you to target certain areas which are marked by the exposures. So if I activate this one and I'm going to place my mouse inside the image, it will show me where the pixels are. So this is -3.5, and Nacho is very dark, so it's -4.4. What I want to do is I want to make sure that Nacho is standing out, because he is a dark dog. It's very hard to photograph him while still keeping his surroundings very bright, lively, and with lots of details. Now remember, I've shot this on a phone. It's a Xiaomi Mi 90 Pro, and what it's done is, because I was using the Open Camera app, it shot RAW and JPEG, and due to the fact that I wanted to have a RAW, it shot in HDR, so high dynamic range. That's why we've got a fairly equal exposure throughout the entire image, so in the highlights and in the midtones and in the shadows. So that makes it very, very easy to work with this image. Now first, what I want to do is I want to paint over Nacho using a mask. So I'm going to hit the draw mask, and then I'm going to hit the brush. And if you want to change the brush size, just scroll it towards you or away from you. And if you want to decrease the feathering, so the outer ring, just hit the shift and do the same thing. So I'm going to make this a little bit smaller again. And I'm just going to paint over Nacho. There we go. And I'm going to speed this up for you guys. And when I'm done, I'll talk to you again. So now that I've painted over Nacho, I'm going to click this symbol because I don't want to see the mask what I've painted. And it tells me that Nacho is at minus 4.3, 4.4. So that means I'm going to target this area. And now that I've brightened him up, you see we've got some halo around him. That has to do with the feathering. And I'm going to hit this and now it's gone. So my mask has been feathered out. And now I don't see a halo around the dog, but we still made him pop and made him a lot more bright than he was before. I want to do the same thing for the entire image, but I can't do that with the same tone equalizer module that I'm using right now. So I need to make a new instance. So I'm going to hit this symbol, click new instance. What I want to do right now is I want to use the same mask, but I want to invert it so I can target the rest of the image. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the drawn mask again. I'm going to select the drawn mask that I've just made, the brush. So when now we see the brushes over Nacho again, I'm going to click this symbol because I don't want to see that. I'm going to click the symbol next to that, the toggle polarity of drawn mask. And now it's inverted. So when it's minus, it's set to here. And if I click it and you see a plus sign, that means that everything around the mask will be targeted. If you want to know for sure, click this symbol right here, this yellow symbol, and that will show you what's being affected in this mask. I'm going to feather it a little bit. There we go, just to make sure that we target everything. I'm going to click that symbol again. And now I'm going to work on this tone equalizer. You see that we're in the -3. Yeah, -3 again, -1. So we've got some different areas that we need to target. So that's what I'm going to do. Let me show you guys what we started with. So I'm going to hit the base curve. This is the image that we started with. Then we added the first tone equalizer, making Nacho a lot more bright than he was. And then we've added the final one, which has made the entire image a lot more bright. Another thing I want to do is, because this is taken with a phone camera, I see some distortions. It's very subtle, but you can definitely tell. Unfortunately, my phone isn't selectable in the darktable list, but I'm just going to be creative. I'm going to open up the lens corrections module. I'm going to activate it and I'm going to hit Samsung. And I'm just going to pick one. I think I'll go with the Samsung Galaxy S8. And I'm going to hit this and now watch what happens. And it looks a bit worse, to be honest, but I can counteract that because I'm going to use the corrections and I'm going to place that on distortion and vignetting only. And instead of using a correct mode, I'm going to use a distort mode. So I'm going to basically invert it. And now you see that the distortion is gone. And that's exactly what I want. So after I've done some basic adjustments to this image, I want to work on the colors a little bit before I start to brighten everything up. So for that, I'm going to use my favorite module of darktable, which is the color zones module. And I want to have darktable calculate everything automatically, so I don't have to tweak and think for myself. I'm going to hit Control and I'm going to click this color picker. And it selected the entire image and you see that it now made a curve. That's not what I want to do. I want to target the sky only. And now you see that the sky is a lot more blue. And one of the advantages is that the reflections in the water turn blue automatically as well because it targets the same pixels. I want to target the grass over here as well because it's very dull, it's very flat. So for that I'm going to use a new instance. And I'm just going to do the same thing, hit Control, click the color picker, but I'm going to place it over the grass. And now you see that these pixels, so this is the area that it has selected in this little rectangle. And now it has increased the pixels in the saturation of that. So I like that a lot. I like it. But because I've already changed the sky with a different module, I'm going to make a mask, a quick mask. So I'm going to hit Draw Mask. And I'm just going to use the path. I'm going to click inside the image. Just a little bit around Nacho. Just to make sure that the changes are only being applied in this area over here and it doesn't affect the sky. Now that's done, I want to make the image a little bit more bright than it already is. So I'm going to use the tone curve module and I'm just going to increase a little bit of contrast. So I'm going to drop the shadows a little bit. I'm just going to increase the midtones. And the same thing for the highlights as well. There we go. So now the image is nice and balanced. It's nice and bright. I'm going to close that one down. I'm going to add some contrast by adding the local contrast module. I'm going to keep the mode on local Laplacian filter. That's so hard to pronounce, man. But this is way too strong. This doesn't look realistic in any sort of way. So I'm just going to tone it down a little bit. And instead of targeting these percentages manually, I'm just going to hit the uniformly button. I'm going to tone this down to 50. So I just hit the right mouse button and I filled in 50. And that already looks a lot better. It's a lot more soft, a lot more subtle, but the changes are still noticeable. And now let's go to the basic adjustments module. Let's activate it. The black level is already okay. I might be able to change the exposure just a little bit, just to brighten everything up just some more. I'm going to increase a little bit of contrast, very subtly, because it's a very strong change. And I still want to make sure that everything looks as real as possible. I want to increase the brightness a little bit as well. And I'm just going to change some overall contrast. And I'm just going to change some overall saturation. Now this image also has a blue cast over it. So I'm going to change that by using the color corrections module. I'm going to activate that. And the white point is the highlights. So you see that the highlights are now being affected very strongly. I'm going to place this in the orange. And the black point is the shadow point. And that affects the shadow pixels. I'm going to move that upwards just a little bit as well. It's very subtle, but now it's a little bit more yellow, a little bit more warm. Let me show you guys before and after. So I'm going to click it. Here's a before. It's got a blue cast, and now I'm going to activate it. And now it's more warm. So now it doesn't seem as if this was a very cold day. And that concludes this edit as well. Let me take a snapshot for you guys. So we've got 23 steps. Let me click that and let me select the base curve one. And let me show you guys the difference. So this is the image that we started with, including the dot on Nacho's face. And now if I move this to the right, there we go. The spot is now gone. It's a lot more bright. It's a lot more vibrant. It's got a lot more colors. And Nacho's visibility is a lot better. And I'm absolutely pleased with this result. And that's it, guys. I hope you guys like it. Let me know in the comment section down below. When you take a photo with your phone, usually it's already pre-edited when it comes out as a JPEG because the software of your phone does it. Make sure to shoot in RAW. If you want to do it yourself, just import it into your computer. Start working on it in darktable. If you want to work on RAW photos straight from your phone, you can use Snapseed. So you can download it in the iOS store or in the Play Store. For this week, there's only one more thing left for me to say, which is make love to the like button. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Hit that bell button to be the first to be notified when I drop in a video. And until next time, doei!